I didn't think I had another one of these in me. I truly believed that at a certain age the well runs dry, that you've already said everything that mattered, and whatever time remains is simply waiting for the sun to go down a little earlier each day. There's a quiet resignation that comes with that belief, a sense that your job is done, that the world no longer needs your voice. But over the last few weeks, something unexpected happened. I started reading letters. Some came from people I've known for years. Most came from strangers who had no reason to trust me, yet trusted me anyway. They told me things they've never said out loud, things they've never shared with their own children, their spouses, or their closest friends. They poured their regrets into the void of the internet, hoping that somewhere someone would read their words and say, "You're not broken. You're not alone. It's okay." And as I read them, one after another, I began to see a pattern, not in the details, but in the pain beneath them. It made me realize that we spend our lives building houses. Not houses made of brick or wood, but houses made of expectations. Carefully designed structures of who we think we're supposed to be. The good provider, the strong father, the dependable husband, the woman who keeps everything together. We decorate these houses with achievements and routines. We paint the walls, trim the hedges, and stand at the windows smiling politely, waving at the neighbors as they pass by. From the outside, everything looks solid, respectable, successful. But inside, the pipes are leaking, the floorboards are soft with rot, and we spend every waking hour making sure no one ever sees the damage, because we're terrified of what would happen if they did. I am 79 years old, and for more than half a century I lived in a house like that. A life that on paper looked like a victory, stable income, a long marriage, responsibilities met, promises kept, and yet, at its core, it was a performance. Not a malicious one, no villainy, no scandal, but a performance all the same. It isn't the big betrayals that hollow us out, not the affairs or the crimes that make headlines. Those are explosions, loud, destructive, obvious. You can see the wreckage. What truly destroys us is quieter than that. It's the slow poison, the small lies we tell to keep the peace, the lies we tell so we don't have to explain ourselves, the lies we tell because admitting the truth would force us to confront our own fear, because we believe deep down that if people saw the real uncertain, trembling version of us, they would leave and never look back. I've been thinking about this constantly since my wife passed away. We were together for 52 years, 52 years of shared mornings and silent evenings, of grocery lists, tax forms, holidays, arguments that faded, and routines that never did. And yet there was a massive, vital part of me that I kept hidden, locked away so tightly that even I sometimes forgot it was there, until the very end. It happened on a Tuesday, just an ordinary afternoon, the kind where the light turns everything gold and you feel for a brief moment like time might actually pause. We were sitting in the garden, surrounded by the roses she had spent months caring for. She looked at me, not casually, not kindly, but deliberately, as if she was seeing through the years, and she asked me if I was happy with the path I chose, with the firm, with the steady life. For 30 years I had a script prepared for that question. I always smiled, always patted her hand, always said that it gave us everything we had and that I had no complaints. It was rehearsed, reliable, safe, but that day the words felt like lead in my mouth, heavy, impossible to swallow. I stared at the roses and felt a sudden, almost violent urge to be known, to finally stop holding my breath. And so I told her no. The silence that followed wasn't anger. It was grief. It was the sound of a 50-year-old bridge collapsing under its own weight. I told her I had hated the office every single day, that I felt like an imposter wearing someone else's life, that I had traded my love for architecture, the one thing that made my blood feel alive, for the safety of an insurance desk, because I was terrified of failing in front of her. I admitted that I had spent decades mourning a life I never had the courage to claim, a version of myself that lived only in quiet fantasies and sleepless nights. She didn't yell, she didn't cry, she just looked at me with a sadness so deep it still echoes in my chest. She said she wished I had let her in, that we could have struggled together, that we could have been poor, that she would have chosen me over comfort every single time. Instead, she lived with a version of me that was always holding his breath. That is the true cost of pride. When you lie to protect your ego, you aren't just protecting yourself, you are robbing the people who love you. You hand them a mannequin to care for while the real person hides in the dark. You tell yourself you're being strong, that you're being reliable, that you're being a rock, but rocks don't feel, rocks don't connect. That afternoon, I realized I hadn't been protecting her from disappointment. I had been isolating her from my soul. We tell ourselves I'm fine more times than we can count. We say it doesn't matter when it matters more than anything. We do it to survive the day. Men of my generation were taught that our job was to be the foundation, but foundations are buried. They're cold, they're unseen. I once worked beside a man named Thomas for 25 years. We shared coffee breaks, complaints, and polite laughter. And when he died suddenly, I learned I never truly knew him. His family spoke of poetry, of sadness, of battles he fought alone, and I realized he knew nothing of mine either. We had spent decades side by side, exchanging weather reports, while our real lives remained invisible. I see it everywhere now. In the eyes of men at the community center, in couples at restaurants, staring at menus instead of each other. Pride builds high walls that feel like safety when you're young, but like a tomb when you're old. A few weeks ago, my daughter sat at my kitchen table and told me everything was fine. For the first time in my life, I didn't play along. I told her she looked like she was drowning. I told her about the garden, about her mother, about the decades I spent pretending I wasn't afraid, and I begged her not to inherit my silence. She didn't just cry, she broke open. She admitted she hated her job, that she felt like she was failing as a mother, that she was terrified of aging. And something remarkable happened. The room felt lighter. By telling the truth, she gave me the chance to actually be her father. Not an image, not a pedestal, but a human being who could help carry the weight for a while. When we hide our struggles, we don't protect our children. We teach them to hide too. We pass down masks and call it strength. If you're listening to this, you still have something I'm running out of. You have time. Time to say the thing you've been burying. It doesn't need to be dramatic. It can be simple, honest, messy. Life is messy. Love is messy. Mortality is messy. I don't have time for polish anymore. Some days I'm at peace. Some days I'm terrified. And when I tell the truth, people don't leave. They stay. They lean in. They've been waiting for someone else to go first. So go first. Stop performing. Stop being perfect. Admit a regret. Ask for help before you're desperate. The lies we tell to protect ourselves only succeed in making us strangers in our own lives. If this resonates, if you feel that knot in your stomach, do something today. Write the letter, make the call, speak the truth to your reflection. Don't die with the mask on. It's too heavy to carry to the grave. You don't have to be fine to be loved. You just have to be here. Be honest, be messy, be seen. Good night.